Hey, Paul McFarland here to talk about Chiat, and I'm going to teach you how to get a client when you think maybe you can't get a client. From the Rizzoli book, two examples, one Apple computer and one Pioneer. Let's see, which one happened first? Yeah, Pioneer. With Pioneer, it was like a lot of their clients in the early days, purely West Coast things, which were interesting startups and kind of inventive sort of things. And the Pioneer, trying to find it here, must have skipped past it. It was basically, when they started working with them, they thought, well, what makes you different? Well, what makes you different? Well, we do have a service center. And so literally the first campaign they did for Pioneer was they made it very famous about this guy, this hippie guy, who ran the service center. Wow, a service center for car stereos? And it's like, right, what? That was a different thing to say about something that had never been promoted, and did it in a way that was really interesting. And they merchandise Steve Tillich, Steve Tillich, who was the manager, and they turned him into a bit of a star in media and did everything they possibly could with him, stretched as far as possible to say, hey, Pioneer, we've got an obsessive hippie guy who knows how to put in a car stereo. Wow. Because all this new portable stereo and car stereo stuff was a new thing, and he had someone you could trust. Now the kids know everything, the hippies know everything. Well, boom, there they are. They owned that. So what were they going to do? They found a different thing to say. Now we'll skip ahead to a brand that probably some of you know a little bit better, called Apple. And the sort of famous ad called Baked Apple, right? It's a true story of a person who had an Apple II, and the house burned down because of the cat, and of course the Apple still worked, and they got it replaced. All right, once again, you've got a product, and you want to find something to say about it. Believe it or not, sometimes the service about the product or the brand or whatever can have an interesting story, a differentiating story. See, if you know what you're doing in this business at all, you know you got your obvious problem, but you got to sometimes look around the corner and look at it from a completely different direction, or have someone else look at it completely different and say, hey, you missed that. That's what this is. The brilliance of the best agency in history. Keep going, maybe you. But the best agency ever, in my opinion, and I can fucking prove it, is, in this example, we could talk about how great the computer is, but you talk about there's support behind it. When things happen, it's like Apple as insurance ad. Literally, I mean, it's so short. I'll read it to you, see? Baked Apple. Last Thanksgiving, a designer from Lynn, Ohio Corporation, see, they're a California company, but they're already across the country, took one of the company's Apple personal computers home for the holidays. Now, isn't that interesting? Someone who has a computer at work that they really want to take home. That's a differentiating point there. This is loaded with this. While he was out eating turkey, it got baked. No, of course, today we may think that's something else. His cat, perhaps miffed at being left alone, knocked over a lamp which started a fire, which, among other unpleasantries, melted his TV set all over his computer. He thought his goose was cooked. But when he took the Apple to Cincinnati computer store, mirable dictu, it still worked. A new case and keyboard made it as good as new. Nearly 1,000 Apple dealers have complete service centers that can quickly fix just about anything that might go wrong, no matter how bizarre. Does that remind you of an insurance company's television campaign? So if you're looking for a personal computer that solves problems instead of creating them, look to your authorized Apple dealer. You'll find everything well done. The personal computer Apple. So, two messages, Apple and Pioneer. When you have a piece of business, sometimes the real interesting story that'll get everyone looking at your brand isn't the obvious one. It may not be the product. It may not be the service. It might be something hidden around the back. Yes, yes, I'm a storyteller. Well, fine. Find the interesting story that no one else has told, and if it's interesting enough, it just might make your business famous. Apple, baked apple, pioneer, Steve Tillich. You can make something famous out of something no one knows about, if you know how to do it. Look behind the scenes. Dig for details. You may find gold. Well, you may not, but I do.